All right, next up we are going to start doing the suspension cables. And so we're going to set it up to have that variable positioning function that we were talking about. So let's just get started setting up that variable position. So it's a centerline based function because only one point connects at the base. However, you'll notice here that we have, we basically have from the previous exercise some subdivisions, right? So notice how this subdivision sort of has a center line. We could isolate it that way if you choose. However, the reparametrization part is kind of key. So I could basically do a new subdivision, get both sides, and then I could reparametrize it and use the center line. Or I could isolate one edge, or one surface, like I did here, and I could reparametrize that, and then I could do my series of connection points along the edge that is the center line. Does that make sense? I might have confused you, but it's going to look like this. So if I'm going to use this particular surface, right, I'm going to use this one in this case, and I'm going to copy and paste and use another one for the other side. So jump over there, that one's not going to do it, this one will. So these are the two surfaces I'm going to use, and for all intents and purposes, I'm going to use the origin side, and I'll call that the west, and I'm going to use the non-origin side, and I'll call that the east. And so I'm going to reference these surfaces and pull them down in, below so that I can separate my different ideas. So these params, I'm going to call it west CL base for centerline, CL for centerline, and east CL base. And the west one is this one here, and the east one is this one right here. And if you care to leave a copy of the information that's flowing out up top, you can. You just need to copy this and then reconnect them and make them wireless. It's a good habit to be in. I don't always do it. For simpler definitions, I don't always do that. And then I'll copy, move these down here. All right, so brand new idea. East and west. So let's go ahead and start breaking this thing down and getting the edge that we want. Do I want to subdivide the edge first and get my points along the center line, or do I want to reparametrize the surface first? Anyone? First person to have an idea about it. Do I want to find the edge and subdivide it into points first, or do I want to reparametrize the surface to reduce its size and position first?
Find the edge.
What's that?
Find the edge first.
No. Yeah, you want to reparametrize it, and you want to get the position function first, because if you find the edge and you subdivide it, well, you subdivided it in its original position, meaning the full length. And you might not always want that. You want it to be able to shift back and forth and reposition. So I'm going to do and I'm going to kind of work on both of these at the same time in tandem, just like I did with the last exercise. So the west centerline base, I'm going to reparametrize that, which means under domain, I'm going to use construct domain squared. And in fact, these ones are really annoying to set up, so I'm just going to kind of jump up here and grab this whole feature again. I'm going to move that down. And then I'm going to need an isotrim under surface utility, isotrim. And make sure your surface is reparametrized, so when you plug it in, you can change its position. Now, remember, the rest of the positions are variable, and the one that's on the outer edge doesn't matter at all where that's placed. but the one that is in the center, which was the 1 value, must be in the center line. Otherwise, you're going to have a misalignment of that particular item. So make sure this is 1. This doesn't have to be on the edge, but I'm going to leave it there anyway. And position it so that it's kind of roughly underneath the geometry above. So something like that. And I am going to do the same thing on the other side, but the other side is going to have an inverse U and minimum and maximum. The reason it's going to have an inverse U minimum and maximum is because they face the same direction. So while they're borrowing the same properties, let me select them both so that you can see. If I move them all up, you can see that they're lopsided, right? Can you guys see that? It's a little hard to see on mine. Let me turn a few things off and turn the default layer off. There we go. All right. So now you can see how they're facing the same direction essentially, right? You understand that? So rather than having them share the same one, I'm going to copy this domain down, and I can keep the same properties, except for the 21 and the 1 are going to invert, and then that's going to be my new domain. Wait a minute. Why did I do that? U minimum, U maximum. That's weird. U value of 1. Huh. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing?
No.
So I reversed the U minimum and the U maximum. So the U minimum should be a value of 1. Meaning, like, the inverse. So this should connect at the center instead. But it's not. And I don't know why.
Mine was even in the first place.
Huh?
Mine was already even when I plugged it in, and I only have 1.
Hang on, let me pause the video. Okay, for some reason, reversing the actual number doesn't do it, which is really shocking to me. So instead, I'm going to do a 1 minus x expression on this input. So 1 minus x, and then reverse this one again to a 1 minus x. And that'll give you an even spread going opposite directions. Yours works without the expression? Oh, that's weird. All right, I don't know. I'm going to chalk it up to one of those things like the offset function going either way in the same definition. Okay, so we have a surface. We have an edge that is aligned with the center line, so we need to find that edge and then subdivide it into points. And the points need to be the exactly the same number of connection points that we have, or number of subdivisions that we have, plus 1. So I'm going to deconstruct brep on both of these. Actually, we might no, this should work this way. Deconstruct brep on both of these, and find the edge using list items. So we'll go to set list item, and again this is quadrilateral, so 0 to 3. Plug your edges in, and let's find the one that is on the center line, which for me it's index item 2. And then we take that line and we need to find the number of subdivisions that we have in the structure above, which is this right here. It's a value of 5. And I'm going to make sure that this is all smart, right? Everything that I change is going to change everywhere and follow and track through. So I'm going to use a parameter of a number, and that would be this 5 right here, and I'm going to call it web subdivisions. And I'll expression that to be +1. So x + 1. You can copy and paste that as well and make that wireless if you'd like. You don't have to make it wireless. So this line is going to be subdivided that number of times. Interesting. Made a value of 7. 6. Ah! Okay, because I copied and pasted it with an expression, so I need to take the expression off the second one. Alright. So good. 6 is correct, and I'm going to go to curve, division, and divide curve. And I'll take this curve, plug it in, and then the number of subdivisions, and plug that in. So what we need to do here is create the triangulation. And I mentioned before that they have variable depths. So we need to create a triangulation that basically stretches a line from the center point between them. So center point between these 2 points of connection. I'm going to draw a line. So I need to draw a line between the two, or find the edge between the two, find the midpoint of that edge, draw a line from midpoint to base connection point, and then I'm going to create a parameter, or a set of parameters that have variable distances. But I think I might need to do that in another video. And yes, I should. Okay, any questions about this right now? Okay.